Yeah.
Kevin Huerter spoke yesterday on what is it, Check Ball podcast? I'd never heard of it, and I don't mean any offense by that. It's cool podcast name. And he talked first off about his injury.
We were talking before this. It's I can start going live September 5th, so just kind of been a long summer. It's like anybody who's been through an injury or surgery. It's just tedious. It takes forever. Trying to be patient. They gave me like a 6-month recovery, and so trying to stay on track with that. But I feel good. Like I want to push more and get into it. October 1st, obviously training camp, what I'm looking forward to, but really kind of want to start doing more and start to get live and things of that nature.
Breaking news, training camp October 1st.
Yeah.
You just slipped that one out. Yeah, that's lame to have been idle for that long. And the thing about a shoulder is, like, if it's a knee, if it's something else, you can. Now, the good news is you can still do cardio.
Sure. But as we know, it's different.
It's absolutely different. So, what I'm hoping for Kevin, our dear friend Kevin Huerter, I'm hoping it's like what you and I talk about sometimes when we don't play golf for a while. Yeah. Maybe that's what he needed.
Come back and you're like, wow, I still got it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Maybe he's like Henry Weingartner now. And he's got like the super shoulder.
Power arm, yeah.
He also talked about the new member of the Sacramento Kings.
Yeah, I think first off, you had someone like DeMar and his skill set, like automatically, I think you're better. You had a player of his caliber, you're a better team. I will say, like, there's a lot of confidence in our building. There has been since I've gotten there. And the West is really tough league. And so, we even felt like last year we dropped a couple easy ones at home or things we could have won, and you're still just right in the mix. Every year there's 2 or 3 at the top, and then everybody seems to be right in the middle. And so we've sat there kind of the past 2 years, and I think we have a lot of confidence. I think it can go any way. I think we'll be able to score and play with anybody. Defensively, I think we continue to show we're getting better. Even the second half of last season showed in the playoffs of the Warriors. Like, I think there's another level defensively that we can get to. But it's hard to make predictions just because it also feels like the talent across the NBA is at, for me, I think, like an all-time high. It feels like every team, there's very few that aren't trying to win anymore. And there's a lot of teams that you could easily put in. Say, I could see them as a 7-8. They could be in the play-in. And, I think we're going to be right there in the mix with anybody. I think we can beat anybody in any given night. It's just 82 games. Let's see if we can stay.
Yeah. And I'll tell you, he didn't say it, and this isn't really necessarily a part of what he's trying to say. But I'll tell you, excuse me, I choked on some of this shake, and I can't shake it. No pun intended. Jason, we haven't seen this for a while, but I want to take what he just said, and I want to combine it with this. If I told you there was a guy who last year in 58 games averaged just under 10 points, played pretty decent defense, and shot 39% from behind the arc, making almost 2 per game. Would you say that's worthy of being somewhere on an? Oh, and by the way, they're first-round pick, 25 years old.
Would I say that's?
Would you say that's worthy of being on an NBA roster? And he, even as a 12th man,
sounds like someone that should be on a bench.
Lonnie Walker IV just signed with the NBA champion Celtics yesterday, and it is a crime that Lonnie Walker IV, which, by the way, I'm not trying to say he's an all-star. I'm saying that is a very useful player in the NBA, and the fact that he's sweating out getting on a roster tells you, along with what Kevin Huerter said, all the competition. This is where the NBA is plump for expansion.
Yeah.
That's not what he meant, but that's what I took out of what he said. The NBA really does need expansion, and it is coming. And it will be almost certainly Vegas and Seattle here in the next couple of years. Excuse me. He's right, though. There is a lot of confidence, but God, there's a lot of competition in the West.
And competition on the Kings for a spot that Kevin Huerter plays. Yeah. I mean, he's been a starter. He probably wants that position. We know Malik has publicly stated he would like to start. Also has stated, look, I'll do what's best for the team. Keon Ellis probably has an argument. Yep. So, or we've talked even about shifting that. Maybe DeRozan's the 2. And I mean, there's some options here, but I think they'll probably go more DeMontis, Keegan, DeRozan at the 5-4-3, leaving that 2. I say open, but I mean, maybe it's Kevin Huerter's spot all along. I know he didn't have the year we wanted.
Right.
But I mean, there's some elements to Kevin Huerter that make sense as a starter.
That's absolutely right.
I mean, his size, his length, his shooting ability.
Size, number one. I mean, not number one, but the size can't be, not that he's Mr. 7 foot tall guy, but he is a nice, you have a 6'7" two guard.
Right.
That's nice.
Yeah. And then you also know that, man, we've got just an amazing sixth man coming in. If you're Mike Brown going, I can now bring in Malik Monk. I can also bring in Keon Ellis to change the course of how we. So they've got good choices, but there will be some strong competition there at that position.
The thing is, I go back and forth on who should start of the two. There's some days where I'm like, dude, Malik Monk signed here, and plus he's fantastic with Fox. Put that firepower in the backcourt. Let's go. Other days, what we just talked about with Kevin Huerter. Let's see how his shot is. But if his shot's back with his size, and this isn't an overly sizey team, we could do some damage with her.
Right.
And then I go, actually, they were a top 10 defense post All-Star. And Keon Ellis was a big part of that. Defense is the biggest issue here. How do you not have Keon Ellis, who is still developing and is already a all defensive team caliber player? You want to put that on your bench? Fox and Ellis in the backcourt, let's go. We're going to get into a lot more conversations about this team, but I can't help, and this is going to be one of those broken record things, but why not? I see it. I stay up at nights, Jason, going, how are they going into the season with this power forward situation? It keeps me up. You're asking Keegan Murray and Domantas Sabonis to be your front line.
Yeah.
Keegan Murray is, look, he's 6'8", but Keegan Murray is not a power forward. He is a small forward. And I know the whole positionless thing, but that's offense.
Yeah.
And then you're asking 6'10" Domantas Sabonis and 6'8" Keegan Murray to guard the Towns and Goberts and Wembanyama's and all the Aytons of the world. And they have their depth is Keegan Murray and Trey Lyles. That's their depth. It's like we're going into the season with a really good. I love this team.
Yeah.
But I don't think. Again, it's almost like the Halliburton thing. We're less imbalanced than we were before the Halliburton trade, but we're very close there.
Yeah, I can see where. Look, there are some flaws, roster construction flaws, I guess. But I also would think the thought process behind this. I think if you really look at what I would say are their best players, and I think if we kind of went what we said in Fox, let's say Huerter, Monk, Murray, Sabonis,
DeRozan.
Who am I missing? Yeah, DeRozan. Thank you. Probably then Monk, Keon, and Lyles. Let's say that 8.
Sure.
I feel pretty comfortable in some way.
I agree.
That's the top end. And so, yeah, they could be bigger, but is having a bigger guy that's probably not as good as one of the other 8 more beneficial than having that 8 that's at a really high level that is going to be tough to guard, might have some flaws. And I know one of the parts about being smaller, the concern is rebounding. Well, you've got the best rebounder in the league for the last couple of years. They don't have a rim protector. That's not really the DNA of this team. If you have one, you use it. If you don't, you have some games you're like, man, that would have been nice to have that. But boy, look what Sabonis does offensively. Look what Lyles is doing offensively.
The Celtics didn't have a rim protector.
Yeah. So there's more ways to do it. You got to go off your strengths too. A team will attack your weaknesses, but you've got to go off your strengths.
And I agree with everything you're saying. I worry about how the Kings are going to be able to defend the drive to the basket by big guys, because that's really, if you can't stop the drive, you're done. You're a 40-win team tops. If you want to stop a drive, I don't have an answer for you, but if you want to start to drive, well, that's where my friends at Hoblet come in.